Hello and welcome to the Coaches Show here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Ryan Osborne, and as you can see behind me, we've got the softball field all set and ready to go. Well, as the sun sets here in the city of Fullerton this week, it doesn't set on softball. We've got an entire show dedicated to the Fullerton College Softball team coming up. So, without further ado, let's start things off with Javier.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK. I'm talking to Dee Ramirez, softball player here at Fullerton College. Dee, what do you think about your stats so far?
Well, I mean, they're a lot better than I initially thought they were going to be, but I definitely am trying to get a lot better than I was last year, and I think so far right now it's proving to be that. But I'm definitely trying to get better every day just to improve them a lot more.
Excellent. What's your advice for any other incoming softball players?
I mean, for this program, I would just say, from my perspective, I would say expect all good things. I mean, the coaches, the girls, just you get a whole nother family. And the passion that we all have, that we all carry, it's amazing. Like, you can only get better from here once you step in here.
What would you say is probably your best hit? Yeah.
Definitely against College of the Canyons when we were down in San Diego. We were tied 5-5. I was in the batter's box, and I had just called time. Well, I was trying to call time in the batter's box, but the blue didn't allow me. He refused. So he said to stay in, and as soon as I turned back, she was pitching a ball, and I felt it. Once I swung, that it was gone, and I got us out of that tie. Yeah, I you could definitely feel it. Definitely felt it.
All right. According to your stats, you've had a lot of runs. When you score them, how do you feel after? Do you go celebrate with your team or by yourself?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, runs are always great. Runs are always great, especially when you need them the most. But yeah, it's always definitely something to celebrate about, especially when they support you so much. We always get hyped, even if like solid line drive. Like, we just celebrate all good hits, no matter out, safe, no matter where. We all celebrate, no matter what.
All right. When it gets tough, what's your mentality?
I mean, when it gets tough, it's hard. You definitely get in that mindset. It's like you can do better, and you're hard on yourself. But definitely, I think my mentality is just think about like the team, the rest of the team. I don't do it for myself. Don't do it for yourself. Don't be selfish. You gotta be selfish and do it for everybody else in the dugout. Do it for everybody else in the stands. Do it for your coaches. I would just say, just don't be selfish.
All right. And when did you begin playing softball?
Playing?
Playing, really.
I think I started when I was 4 years old. Yeah, so I've been playing for about a good, I'm old, for about a good maybe 16, 17 years.
Wow, that is pretty long. Let's see. As a person, what do you say is your maximum potential in the future?
As a player?
As a player.
It's very hard considering the positions I've been in the past couple of years. I definitely could see myself getting so much better. Ooh, that was tough, sorry. So much better. But then again, I mean, as a player, I'm always looking to improve, so I definitely think as the years go on and as I continue, those stats I'm hoping will just get so much better. So that, I mean, as of right now, that's what I see. Yeah.
Yeah, your stats show something different. Compared to last year to this year, they have jumped.
I know. I'm trying. That's what motivates me. Stats from yesterday's game to games past, last year, my freshman year, always motivation to do better.
How do you feel about, there was one game that you blew them out 9-0. How did that feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, being able to not let the other team score a run is just amazing overall. I mean, pitchers do their jobs. All we do is support them, have their back. So it just feels like a great accomplishment at the end of the day.
Excellent. Has shortstop always called your attention?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for as long as I can remember, that's all I've been playing. Only ever played something different during high school, but even then, I've always wanted to play short just because I like being the captain on the field, and I know I can be. And it's just a great spot to be in, knowing that your team looks up to you, your team is getting there. It's just, I don't think I would change my position for any other one.
As a shortstop, what do you say is more important, strength or speed?
I mean, I definitely would say speed, because no matter your strength, as long as you're quick, you're always going to get it there. You're just going to find some way to get that there. Like, no matter what base, no matter how far, speed is everything. Speed is everything.
Okay. As a softball player, what do you expect the work team is?
Sorry.
It's gonna be a little difficult.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Should explain the team. Is that
yeah, try to explain to you.
Team to me is family, is support. It's knowing that you can pick each other up no matter any situation, knowing that you got each other's back no matter what. So you're stronger together, basically. Yeah, that's really as simple as I could put it.
Together as one,
Yep.
always strong.
Yep, always.
And do you think there's a bond, like a more special bond that you have with one type of player?
I think it's always going to be my pitcher. Always going to be my pitcher. Because at the end of the day, I'm working for her. I'm talking for her. I'm letting her know. I'm letting everybody know that I got her back. And everybody know that we're working for her. So at the end of the day, I think no matter what, me and the pitcher, our bond is always going to be strong.
Excellent. Like they say, iron sharpens iron.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
After do you think that you'll ever quit off softball and go into another sport?
Another sport? I don't think so. Like, I'm so in love with this sport. I feel like I'll betray that sport if I ever changed. I already chose between this and soccer, and I chose this. And like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. I love it here. Absolutely love it here.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time with
Yeah,
us.
of course.
This has been the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK.
I'm Holden Remy here with Bella Nahara, one of the better pitchers on the Fullerton College Softball team. So Bella, obviously a tough loss today. You were pitching in the circle. What was it like kind of facing the Palomar offense today?
You know, I think our team together was ready. We were ready, and everything was just up. I do believe we did have a small strike zone, but we were able to deal with it. We were able to deal with it for sure. I definitely think it was just a really good game. We fought hard, but we were able to deal on the mound.
So let's talk about some positive aspects. You guys have been killing it this season, pitching-wise. Your average ERA going into today's game was 2.29, and your ERA being sub-1 at a .72 is really amazing. What have you been doing this season to kind of continue excelling in your pitching?
I mean, you know, I have been working mostly on my spin. I think the spin is definitely what has been allowing me to get the time that I have. I think it's just been also like the kind of work between the pitcher and the catcher. I think the pitcher and the catcher, the team work between us, it definitely helps for sure.
And so you said you've been working on your spin a lot. What are some things, maybe drills or exercises that you do in practice to help increase that spin rate?
I mean, so I actually, this is something I brought back from Michigan, but I use a football. So when I use a football, it just allows me to spin my rise ball very well. And you know, we do have a great pitching coach that has taught us some really good drills, just with our change-ups, our rise balls, everything, and it's been working for us for the most part.
Awesome. And when obviously you were pitching today, but in terms of the batting, your team has been on fire as well. So as a pitcher, what are some things that you see your offense doing to kind of help get runs and get on base?
You know, I think everyone just has a hot bat. Everyone has a hot bat, and you know, we have our on days and our off days. Honestly, we did have an on day, but we did have a very good team to face as well. You know, with the hot bats and with the hot bench, honestly, that's what kind of brings the team together. It's just the cheers and the upbeat positives. I think, yes, we were down today, but I think tomorrow we'll bounce back even better.
And you mentioned you come all the way from Michigan. What is it like coming from Michigan to California to play softball? Do they have different styles of play? How is it different, or how is it the same as well?
So the one thing I noticed, actually, it's quite different, is in Michigan, we actually don't start, like our season hasn't even started. So I just noticed the early season, and I like the extra work. I like the extra work that's put in over here. I mean, it's just, it's more competitive over here, but I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it.
And then how would you describe the culture of your team?
You know, I think the culture is, you know, whoever stays wants it. Like, we all want it. I mean, you know, we've had a few people we lost on the way, but I know that everybody here who still wants the ball, still wants to win, and we all are just trying to come together to get the win and win conference.
And as we look forward, what are some of the tougher opponents that you're perhaps looking forward to matching up with in the future?
You know, honestly, I haven't heard many schools, unfortunately, just because I'm not from here, but I do know Santa Ana is very competitive, and we're ready to come with blood. Fight, be ready. And then Cypress as well. My dad actually did graduate from there, so that's one thing one team I'm ready to face. One team I'm ready to, yep.
A little bit of rivalry.
Yes,
there.
a little bit of rivalry. I'm ready.
There we go. And so in terms of practice, trying to keep up this pace that you guys are going on in terms of the pitching and the batting, what are some things that Coach emphasizes during practice?
The coach emphasizes kind of just staying up, sticking together. I mean, we usually tend to get down if we make one mistake, but you know, we always got to bounce back. I think that's what we really did well on today. No matter what errors we made, I do think that we were able to bounce back today, and that's all our coach emphasizes. She wants us to all work together and get the job done.
And then as far as pitching wise, obviously you've been doing great all year. What are some things that you think have put you ahead of some of the other pitchers? What things do you do great that make you the player you are today?
I mean, you know what? I'm blessed to have the chance to be a lefty. Just pitching from the left side kind of gives the batters a different side, different point of view. And I'm just grateful enough to be able to have the spin I have with my left side to be able to mess with the players, mess with the batters. And I'm always ready in the zone, ready to compete.
Would you say since you're a lefty, it almost puts you at an advantage compared to a righty, even if you were able to do the same things just by being throwing from the opposite hand than people are used to? How does that affect the batter?
Yeah, so you know, just as a batter myself too, I do tend to get a little confused when it comes to facing lefty pitchers, and I mean, it's just from the different side. Just from the different side, the smallest things can really determine whether you can hit it or not, whether you can get on base hits and everything. The left side is definitely just something just a minor change that can really affect the game.
And then finally, what are some personal goals that you're hoping to achieve this year?
Personal goals, I do really, really want to be able to get all conference. And as a team as well, I just want us to all work together, win our conference as well, and make it to state.
Well, thank you, Isabella, for taking the time to talk to us. I am Holden Remy with the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK.
All right, this is the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBBK. I'm Daniel Sunoco here with Madison House. So, Madison, how long exactly have you been playing softball?
I've been playing since I was 3 or 4. As soon as I could start, I started playing softball. Yes.
What would you say would be your best tool as far as?
My best tool would be talking on the field. I used to not be a very vocal player, and then as I got into high school and college, I really made the adjustment, and now I think cheering for my teammates is the most important part. So.
As far as positions go, I did see you do play first base as well as pitcher. What would you say would be the main difference between the two as far as preparation goes?
Personally, I think the mental game is different. As a pitcher and just a regular fielder, the mental game is a lot different, and you have to come in with a whole different mindset when you're on the mound versus on the field. Yes.
Yeah. What would you say would be like, just overall, what would be the main preparation you have to really think about as far as your attitude towards the game and both just tuning your skills?
I think just like how I talked about pitching versus playing first, mental game is the most important. Coming in mentally prepared is the #1 most important thing. It's the #1 thing that controls your physical game and emotional game and of course your mental game. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So unfortunately you guys did lose. So what would you say would be the main adjustment going from here?
Well, I feel like we did really great talking energy-wise. I think it was just our bats. We just need to come in swinging tomorrow. We know the pitchers that we're going to be facing, and we just need to come in prepared for that pitching. So, yes.
So this is the Coaches Show. Thank you. We'd like to thank Madison House for tuning in with us.
Thank you.
I'm Daniel Sunoco, and this is the Coaches Show at 90.1 KBPK.
Every single team has a different identity. It doesn't matter whether it's more pitching, more hitting, running, fielding. It's all about a singular identity. Now, the good teams have multiple. And when you look at Fullerton College, we need to know what the identity of this team is so far. So Holden is currently over at the field. We're going to toss it to him. And Holden, what's the biggest thing that stands out to you in terms of what gives this team an identity?
Thanks, Ryan. We're currently here down the first baseline at the softball field, currently watching Isabella Nahara pitch, who as of right now has an ERA of .72, who really seems to be holding it down in the circle, along with other pitcher Emily Flores, who through 26 innings pitched has a 1.62 ERA. The entire pitching staff of Fullerton College has been doing real well throughout the season, as their team ERA is sitting at 2.29 and have only allowed 4 home runs. Some of the keys to the softball team here is definitely their pitching, as each pitcher has not allowed more than 1 home run, and their top 2 pitchers in innings pitched, Emily Flores and Olivia Nunez, continue to hold it down while allowing 10 walks total and only 15 earned runs in the 12 games that they've appeared in.
So, being that pitching and offense are also very important, there's always one thing that always comes to mind. Strongest defense always wins championships, and in this case, the Fullerton Hornets have been doing exceptionally well. They have a .953 fielding percentage, only committing 12 errors through 9 games. The stronghold in this would be sophomore first baseman Madison House. Currently, she has a 1,000 fielding percentage, which is absolutely phenomenal. She's had 45 attempts with 40 putouts and 5 assists through 8 games. She's been a part of 1 double play and has also assisted in playing in a run caught stealing. So she currently has a 500 percentage in that. So far, Fullerton's defense is doing exceptionally well during this game. No runs have scored yet, and we're very excited to see how this defense will hold up throughout the year, and we fully expect it to do very well.
Thank you, Holden. Now, considering that pitching is really good, the thing is with a good pitching team, you have to have trust in who's directly behind you in the field. If you don't have that, well, it's going to make the way that you pitch a little different. You're going to change your style because you'll be a little bit more, we won't say timid, but you won't attack hitters as much. So, in order to have that really good pitching staff, you've got to have fielding. Danny, you have a little bit more on that.
So, being that pitching and offense are also very important, there's always one thing that always comes to mind. Strongest defense always wins championships, and in this case, the Fullerton Hornets have been doing exceptionally well. They have a .953 fielding percentage, only committing 12 errors through 9 games. The stronghold in this would be sophomore first baseman Madison Peavyhouse. Currently, she has a 1,000 fielding percentage, which is absolutely phenomenal. She's had 45 attempts with 40 putouts and 5 assists through 8 games. She's been a part of 1 double play and has also assisted in playing in a run caught stealing. So she currently has a 500 percentage in that. So far, Fullerton's defense is doing exceptionally well during this game. No runs have scored yet, and we're very excited to see how this defense will hold up throughout the year, and we fully expect it to do very well.
So pitching and fielding, those are the two biggest things that have been fantastic for Fullerton College so far in the 2022 season. Now, we've already talked to the players, gotten a little bit of a feel for what their, we'll say, assessment is of the season so far. We've got to go to the brand new head coach here at Fullerton College. I got a chance to talk to Coach Crystal Aguirre out on the field. So we are here with Coach Crystal, the head coach of the softball team here at Fullerton College. And Coach, when you look at your team, just the recent loss against Palomar, how would you rate the performance in this one?
I told them I was just proud of them. You know, you're facing great pitching. I did mention to them, this is a team that we're going to face off at the state championships. This is a team that knocked us out. So when we're, you know, everything comes down to approach to the plate, I felt like we had quality at bats. We had some dingers out there, and you know that defense adjusted to us and played deep on us. We had some great line drive shots, and they made some great plays behind it. You know, just like I said, sometimes you know there's this ball that's going to end up winning on the other side. So today, Palomar got the win.
Coach, I'm from a hockey background, and we have this stat called expected goals percentage, where you have a chance that looks really great, but it doesn't end up resulting in something. You look at the liners that you had today, kind of that same situation where you had these really great batted balls that unfortunately end in outs. Do you think that that really helps you to keep those trends eventually down the line during the season?
Absolutely. I said, I think the best part about it is we get to play again tomorrow. And we're going to see that type of pitching. We're going to see quality pitching again tomorrow. Same type of deliverance as Palomar pitcher had today, same speed, up ball pitcher with an off-speed pitch. I think they can learn from their bats. I told them our goal tomorrow is maybe to try and hit a little bit earlier in the count, not get behind, so a pitcher can't throw some junk at them.
One of the things that is kind of disappearing lately, especially going from younger ages to up, is that signature drop pitch. When a batter steps up and they're just not expecting that later on in the count, how do you prepare your batters for the new trends in pitching?
So you're talking about drop ball pitching?
Yeah.
And how we adjust to drop ball pitching. As an offensive standpoint, it's adjusting in the box. Either we're going to go up in the box to catch it before the break, or we're going to adjust to the back of the box, almost just like a rise ball, and then let it fall before it's called a strike. So that would be the adjustment there on a pitch like that. Absolutely.
Last time we got to talk to you, it was before you were named the head coach here of this program. Coach, now that you are the head coach of Fullerton College Softball, what is the legacy that you are looking to create here at Fullerton?
I think it's like I always said, I want to step in and leave this program better than I found it. When I played here, I took a lot of pride and left everything I had on the ball field as an athlete here. Getting this opportunity to come back to Fullerton College and give back what I was given here as a student athlete, and now be able to provide those same necessities, those same life skills, that same encouragement, that same empowerment to these young women. I can't wait, and I just hope that I do a good job.
Coach, considering that you played here, also worked with this program for a while, do you think it kind of gives you that little edge knowing that you don't necessarily have to build a program from the ground up? This is a team that is ingratiated in your past.
Correct, yes. And I think that's when I came in back in 2010-11 is where I was a little bit taken back. I was a little bit surprised in where our program was at and the direction it was headed. And I definitely wasn't happy about it. But I took it as a compliment when Coach Mendoza called me and asked me to come coach alongside by her. You know, and I know at that time Coach Bassey was here and I played for her. And I just know the expectations of the program, and I was on a mission as an assistant coach then to put my head down and work hard and go out there and try and bring in the best athletes that we can. You know, I know that we're competing in the Orange Empire Conference, which is the toughest conference up and down the state of California. So, you know, that required us to maybe even go outside Orange County. And, you know, and we continue to do that. And that's what we're striving for, is just to continue to bring in those quality athletes, and hopefully we're bringing in even better and better every single year.
I mean, when you mentioned going out of Orange County, one of the biggest things that you've always talked about, and also getting the sense being around this program for a bit, is it's not just about the players themselves and that on-field performance, but you're also molding people to go from maybe early student athlete into a wonderful person in society who's also a fantastic athlete. How do you make sure that you establish that with new prospective players on your team?
I think we do a good job bringing by our alumni, keeping them connected, whether that's through a phone call, whether that's through winter break. We make it a point for them to bring them in, to have those conversations with them, to share their experience here, whether it was 2 years, whether it was 3 years, and really be able to give them advice. And kind of to prepare them what to expect, our expectations, the traditions that we have, the culture that we've built here. Everything comes down to education, and right now, as we said, we know we're coming off of COVID. It's been tough. I think a lot of people cultures were shattered a little bit, and that's for us. We've lost all of our sophomores, and I'm extremely proud of them. They've all graduated and they're on their scholarships and playing ball. And we have a young team, but it's taking time. But I think we have great returning leadership, and I believe they're going to take us to the top.
When you mention that leadership, you have multiple styles that coaches have in terms of setting leaders, allowing them to just naturally happen. What is your mindset in terms of finding leaders on your team?
I think you have to have balance, and balance by I mean you have intrinsic, extrinsic personalities. And I think not everybody is very vocal, but I believe that we have athletes that lead by example. Maybe they're that quiet person that does what they're supposed to do when coach asks them. They take care of business in the classroom. They take care of business here on the field. They never miss, and they're always giving you everything they have. That's somebody that I think is a leader in our eyes, an intrinsic leader that can possibly connect with others that are possibly quiet, just like them. Somebody like somebody like a D. Ramirez is somebody that we've been molding for the last 2 years. D. Ramirez is a very intrinsic person, and getting her out of her shell. And I think that it's unraveling. Confidence is everything, and as I mentioned, and you've talked to us numerous times, that's what we instill is confidence. And now she gets to stand out there and shine bright like that diamond that we said she was. So. We just keep pushing, and we keep pushing, and even when they don't believe, we keep pushing. And now she's that vocal leader. Now she's big, she's out there, she's getting the job done. She's physically being able to be that leader for her team. She uses her voice, she's leading by example, and you can't ask for more than that. You absolutely can't ask for more than that. So.
I mean, Coach, obviously wins are great. Love the fact that you can go out there, compete, get a victory, but is it that sense of pride seeing a student athlete go from just entering your program to turning into that leader here with other teammates around them? Is that the more joyous pride that you get?
Absolutely. That's the reward. I think that's when the light bulb goes off and they finally get it. Because you're not sure. 2 years can go by really, really fast, and sometimes we lose them in that first year. But as I said, coaching is I never thought could be as rewarding as it is versus playing. But seeing somebody like a Danielle Ramirez look at herself in a whole nother level is an accomplishment both to myself and Coach Mendoza.
Coach, thank you for joining us here on the Coaches Show. We look forward to the numerous interviews that we'll have with you as the head coach of Fullerton College Softball.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So again, we want to thank all the Fullerton College athletes who joined us here on the Coaches Show, in addition to Coach Crystal as well. For Javier, Danny, Holden, I'm Ryan Osborne. Thanking you for joining us here on the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK.